CEO Ju went looking palace he could sell the Buddha statue, in which he came across the Antique Art Center. The antique art owner looking at the statue told SEO Ju that this is probably not even worth 50 bucks. You should just stick it somewhere as decorations. Really? That shouldn't be right, answered SEO Ju. Trust me, with one look and I can tell. No one buys stuff like this. CEO Ju looking at the statue and sweared that that bastard Mr. Park Kyung-tae is really gonna meet his family tree this instant. The way he acted as if this thing was worth $1 million and is a cheap fake. For that, it's an act if felony to the law, and for deceiving me and forgery of pretense that amounts to 3 million yen. Plus 300% interest profit and 100% tax for me. SEO June. Walking through the art store looking back, doubting the art owner's judgment. Holding the Buddha statue with both of his hands, looking at the Buddha statue. His instinct felt like the Buddha statue was worth some money at least, or did I make a mistake because I don't have the archaeologist relic? Thought SEO June. While holding the Buddha statue, a suspicious essence began to pour out of the statue. A system tab appeared due to his PE skill Git activated in front of SEO Ju Haeon, which surprised him by the system saying some essence of energy getting emitted by the Buddha statue. I get it already now, of my face I can't see clearly. So what you are saying there, something in the statue. So what you are saying, the Park siblings are smuggling things this way. For that is theft and money. Heist, tactical smuggling. For that I must unfortunately add another 500,000 yen fine. This charges keep increasing. It's so sad when people don't seek enlightenment. So that is absolutely about, I knew that 300 kilogram of a human, Mr. Park, was shaking in his boots over loosing some statue. If the contents here are much valuable, it will erase their fine, said SEO June, shaking the Buddha statue. Shall we open and see what is inside? He said, drawing out his knife, tapping the relic with it. I don't know about you, my fellow viewers, but do you guys want to open anything either? A package number. One thing you think of is year. Let me take out the knife. If you do, please get help. You are the danger itself. I mean, you are the definition of danger lurks everywhere. He threw the Buddha statue upwards, with precise and accurate slashes and cutting through the Buddha statue with inhuman speed and reflexes, even shocking a customer whom came out from the store shopping, thinking it was going to be a casual day, but no, our boy SEO Ju is seriously dissecting a Buddha statue to oblivion with godlike. Bottle with liquid got revealed. It fell and rolling on the ground looking at it, SEO Ju. The tax collector thought was an illegal drug ready to add and increase the fee of the Park brother and sister duo. Shaking the bottle looking at it, thinking it must be an illegal drug. Disposing of a crucial rug to my disposal without any heads up, making the victim as me be the plug is such an offense which is punishable by 10 whips and 5 million yell as compensation and trauma to the victim, and another 100 million IN as an apology, and to pay for a therapist medication and to hoy to hospital to see if I don't test positive to broke ass syndrome. The person who came from the store was stunned, sweat from his cheek, wishing SEO Ju doesn't see him, thinking, I don't know what kind of Valdrew has into, but Pauls don't see me, thought the person behind SEO Ju. This must be pretty good stuff and expensive to be well hidden. This stuff must be more and cost too much money. The more illegal it is, the more money I bag. If it's banned in the country, the better. Are the Park sibling involved in drug trafficking? Too, thought SEO Ju, holding the bottle close to his chest, throwing glances around his surroundings. SEO Joe walked looking at the bottle brother. Not sure if I illegal drug, just walking casually, looking at it in public. Recalling that the Park siblings had owned hundreds of art pieces. What if all of them had drugs in them? Walking with proud face, G called his big brother Jeon Woo. He was going to send justice and eliminate his first enemy first, with a smile on his face like a cheerful child. Because the reward for reporting drug trafficking is like $100,000, right? Asked SEO Ju. back at Ixiang Gallery, where the Park siblings had been seriously making Escobar proud by their drug trafficking. The elder sister of Park is on the phone with sweat dripping on her face. She's saying, "That's not case, Mr. President. I assure you, the goods aren't ready. Really, I, the narrator, doubt SEO Jew, bled your brother's wallet dry." Continuing talking, saying the R, watching them. The person whom Mrs. Park called President yelled at her extremely loudly, walking to the corner, lowering her voice, saying, "Yes. Yes, I'm really sorry. I will contact you at the moment for an update." Furiously, she shouted, "You white-headed potential patient of the afterlife. Why would I pocket the money for myself? I hope you choke at your own spit, you lifeless mummy." Sound of the store swanged opened with a annoyed face, which was filled with rage. Turning, "And where the fuck have you been? Did you recover the Buddha?" she shouted at his brother, whom looked beaten up with handcuffs on his hands, and two people behind him whom physical body are well trained, one of them being SEO Jew elder brother Ganwu, whom was the one on the right. His younger brother with tissues on his nose with shaky voice saying, "Be big, sis." They got everything were ruined. Her sister, after she heard her brother's words, sweat dripped down her face, saying this. "What's the meaning of this?" Telling her were her because we received a tip that you were smuggling and distributing drugs, said Jian Wu, walking forward, showing his badge, which was in his wallet, which contained his detective badge, to the elder sister of the Park. What drugs?" "We only deal with art. We're law-abiding, tax-paying citizens," answered the eldest sister of Park. He said, "Why do all criminals always say the same thing? It's amazing. We've already collected necessary evidence." Jian Wu reveling the bottle in which SEO Ju had found inside the Buddha statue. "And we know that this isn't everything you store most in your warehouses, correct?" added Jian Wu, which shocked Mrs. Park to the core by this revelation, and how does he know such information? With a witch expression on her face, she said to herself, "Did these bastards find out the Gyeonggi province warehouses too? Even if they find each room had a security code, so it should be fine," she thought. The eldest sister began to defend herself, saying to Jian Wu, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't accuse people when you don't have any evidence." In which Jian Wu looked at her with smile at his face. Mrs. Park, with her confidence increasing to prove her innocence and intimidate Jian Wu. She contained, "You think just because you're police, you can come here and mess with someone else's business?" Her sound kept increasing. She continued to talk. Jian Wu took out his walkie-talkie, and which sound of another police officer said, "We've finished checking the 600 pieces of artwork found at the Hwaseong City warehouse. We found drugs in all pieces." In panic and yelling, she shouted, "With a minute you opened all the rooms in the warehouses? How is that possible? Every room has a different security code. You're right, they did. But we have our ways." He answered her, smiling innocently. Bro putting the most innocent expression, about to send her to a life sentence and she will get fined 1,000,000 won. Continuing, he told her thankfully, "We had some help from an inside man," in which we see how the police were able to access the warehouses which had different code due to SEO Ju's help. One of the polices tell SEO Ju, "There is a room here that hasn't been opened yet." He turned and answered the officer, "Oh, really, show me." SEO June went to the door, began to insert the code. "That's pretty amazing. How do you know all these codes?" One of the officers complimented him. Turning to him, he answered, "I just have a pretty good memory." Recalling back then, but it's true, he has good memory and one of his talent. That's why the Kyungju's aka the Park siblings found him so useful. When he first started to work for them, it was difficult for SEO Joe to navigate to each warehouses because of each had different codes. At that time, he didn't think it was strange, but he thought it was annoying, so he memorized all of the piece codes. "I never thought I will use them in something like these," he thought, after he opened the door, allowing the two officers in with a smirk smile on his face. Reassuring to himself, this isn't the only information stored in his head. Now that I have the reward money, I can use everything I know about roasting the tombs and collect relics. Laughing villainously in low tones, One of the officer in disgust manner, he said, "Wow, look what we have here." Raising the same illegal fug in a bottle, saying when there be two, the other saying these bastards got some huge balls. Officer turned and thanked SEO Jew, saying you helped us with a big burst. SEO Jew answered it was my pleasure after sending one of his enemies to solitary prison. SEO Jew asked the two officers for a favor in which they were surprised by his request. Two men taking the Park siblings away. The elder sister shouting, "This is ridiculous! GERT! Off! I said let go of me!" She yelled, looking at Jeon-woo, whom was in a phone call which was SEO Jew wanted to talk to him. Asked one of the officers who were with SEO June at the other end of the call. "Hey there, Mr. Inside Man." "What? Oh." "Ha ha ha ha," said Jeon-woo, trying to keep everything low-key in a cool manner. Jeon-woo called out, "Oh, woman, 1 second. My inside man wants to talk to you," said Jeon-woo, raising his phone with a smile on his face. You may say apples from different tree, but of the same character. She put the phone close to his ear and SEO Jew voice sounded with the most comforting, heartwarming words saying, "Hello, you old netherworld witch, you should have treated me better. When someone works for you, you should pay them properly," he's said, looking at the phone trying to gasp and recall that familiar yet annoying voice, them. It clicked, and she shouted, "Ju Hyun, did you do this? You deaf bitch, do I sound like fairy to you? And please switch your password every 6 months." He answered her. SEO Joe. Finishing his touches, he said anyway, "Enjoy your life in jail and tell your brother not to drop the soap. There has been an increase of serious backshoot lately, same goes to you." She was shocked by the revelation. "Hey, SEO, Joe, I'll get you for this. This, how you pay me after what I did for you, you bastard." She yelled, been taken away by the two officers. It's already nighttime, the city's lighting illuminating the darkness. Walking in an alleyway, he said to CEO Ju Hyun. Said to himself, "Man, that felt good and hope they take my advice to consideration." He's phone vibrating in Gis pocket, checking to see who the hell it is. Seeing it, his brother Geon-woo telling him he'll get his $100,000 soon, and he's proud of him and use his hard-earned money wisely. Smiling to see his brother cared about him and worried at the same time. "He doesn't need to worry, I have got the money, I'll have to get starey looking for the tombs," said with a smile, with hand on his pockets. With a serious look on his face, he assured himself, "I'm going to find the relics before that Taejun bastard does. I have to, I must." Seeing what is ahead of him, he was shocked. What the... Where's my house confused, shocked when a large boom occurred in the ground, raising the land. Welcome PLAs, don't forget to like the video, help the channel to grow, as this is my path. And if you wish to support the channel for faster upload, there's a link in the description. Help to support. Thank you, legs. Continue to our story of SEO Ju Hyun, the tomb raider, the tax collector. Seeing his apartment being buried because of a large tomb which was made by a relic, to appear and take its house. He remembers that relics have consciousness, and this relic will know the power of a leather belt. He will extract that relic's life essence for seriously promoting him into an adult street animal, even worse state than being homeless. Bro has hopes and financially able, delusionally, his mentally unstable in general. This made the residents from the area in chaos. Some of them were quarreling over petty issues. And God's sake, there is a grown woman cry. Maybe it's because of the apartment had been buried, and she didn't apply her makeup. Her cries mad, a chain reaction causing a young baby to cry out loud. Her mother told the man beside her to calm down, they are making the baby cry. The man looked at the woman who, she's telling him to, calm down after his home has been buried. He felt like to suplex this woman to the ground and pin the child to submission. Ha 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 ha. Sensational. Seo Ju walked away with annoyance, ready to displine. Everyone is really panicking. The tomb and relic powers are quite overwhelming power, which can be mistaken for a natural disaster. Seo Ju recalled that at this time before being reborn, his roommate had called him and told him that their house had disappeared, or maybe they had been house-napped. Seo Ju was dumbfounded. How can their house be kidnapped? At the time, he was slaving away at the park's warehouses and couldn't go home. And when he finally got back from work and went home, he saw that everything was back to normal. Which means that back then, someone had completed the tomb. Back to his senses. Seo Ju heard someone pleading to the soldiers bot to shoot. He realized that familiar voice, seeing it, was his roommate, Dong-Hyun Kim. "Shut up. Do I look like a joke to you? Just follow my good damn instructions. Why are you asking many questions?" shouted the soldier, whom now is being unstable, and if this veteran doesn't gain composure, he was gonna gun them down. Can't blame him due 'cause unfamiliar things were happening. He shouted, "Move, you dumbass, and your Nikes are fake, kid." Seo Ju, whom heard and seen this action, did not hesitate and kicked the soldier, saying, "Am the one whom lend him those Nike shoes, and they ain't fake, you one Katie veteran, and confirm this are Jordans, and they ain't fake. I can be broke, but that D-Senar mean I lack class." Kim, Seo Ju Hyun. Roommate was shocked to see him. Seo Ju just yelled at the knocked-down soldier, shouting, saying, "How dare you touch a civilian and declare my shoes are fake?" Bro just slammed a military officer and pulls out the victim card. He's a menace to society. Smiling at his roommate, he said, "Long time no seen Kim." His tone made Kim alert because he knew Seo Ju does that when he trying to send a threatening message. Seo Ju told him, "Hope you don't leave crevasse on them." Soldier, waking up, coughing, his hands trembling. Without waste of time, Seo Ju pulls out the responsibly citizen card, saying, "Have you come to your senses? It's like when my mother had seriously beat me up with a slipper. My screams resonated as if I was a Godzilla charging its death beam. After the beating, she says, I was beating you, I was beating the mistake. No shit, Sherlock. What was the meaning? The slipper landed on me. Am I the error 404 or something?" Soldier apologized for his actions and was deeply sorry for calling his shoes fake. He bought the same shoes, but his want, Nike, it was NKE. That's why, seeing the shoes, he lost his own temper. Seo Ju was mad, but wasn't concerned about the shoes. No, he wanted to know which soulless bastard sold him Nike that without I in the name. Give me the address. That man needs to be charged for social forgery. And don't the police handle this situation? Why in the world is military doing here? The soldier looked at him. He was stunned, speechless, and dumbfounded at the same time. "Are you trying to go to the tomb? Inside?" asked Seo Ju, in which the soldier replied, "It's classified." This man, master of manipulation, this time no citizen knows it's a tomb. Seo Ju asked if they're going inside one, and he verified it's classified. Bro didn't think how in the hell this man knows. It must be the kick. It corrected his thinking, like its logo, get it. This alerted Seo Ju that is his country military know about the relics this early on. If so, they are his competitors. Seo Ju pulled up the I know my rights card and told the soldier, "Hey, I live here and have the right to know why a soldier is carrying guns in front of my apartment building, and I want to know why. Plus, you made a mistake of saying my Nikes are fake, and then you threatening of the civilian, which I can report you for that." The soldier became tensed, thinking, just come back from my first assignment after training, and it's not even complete. There is this constipated soul want to report him. Seo Ju tells him not to make the situation worse. He just needs some information. The soldier heard this. He didn't hesitate and told him they are actually planning on blasting open that thing over so that they can explore what's inside, and of course there won't be any danger to civilian. Seo Ju knew that. You can't just blast open a tomb like that. The soldier looked at Seo Ju's expression and felt like he doubted him. He told him that they even have foreign experts and everything will be okay. Foreign experts? Aha. Now I get it, thought Seo Ju. I see. Thanks for telling, Mr. I feel a lot safer, said Seo Ju. This us the most straight-up lies I have ever heard this man Seoju is the two most threatening thing apart from the relics. Seoju tells the officer to keep up the work and take care of himself, leaving in which the soldier thanked him. Kim, his roommate, asks, "Seoju, what did you say?" He answers him not to move from this spot, and he walks away, confusing Kim, whom begins to call out Seoju, but he keeps walking away, ignoring him. Kim was shocked because of his wired acting today. The other side of the incident, we see 2 soldiers and 3 men with black suit. Is this going to turn into blockbuster manhwa? Let's see. The soldier were just talking to each other with no idea or any sense of danger in them. By seeing this, the woman smiled by their reaction, which she received a phone call saying that the Korean government doesn't know anything about the tombs yet. We cone to discover she is Linda Walker of American CIA agent. Yes, am positive, replied the caller. Linda 5 he agent answered that the Korean government had sent too many soldiers at the incident. The caller tells her that she should be thankful that they are cooperating with them and she should refrain from asking so much questions, that there are so many people whom speak English there. The caller asked on how the mission is progressing. She answered that the explosives will go off soon. Looks like everything will be fine. The caller said she does her best and she investigate the tomb thoroughly and if possible, retrieve the relic. Understood, she answered. Damn America bring, America discover oil, they are there. New opportunities, they are there too. Ending the call, a man appeared saying hello, which made her annoyed and surprised at the same time. She asked, "And you are?" Laughing, he said, "Why is she so surprised seeing him? He is Kiyoshi Abe, a Japanese excavation agent. He says that it's natural for him to be here because he's from the neighboring country, so it makes sense. But you are from America. How long did it take you to get here? And seems you guys take robbery quite seriously that you can do it further away." His words shocked and annoyed Linda Walker, which made Linda to reveal their intention of simply recovering the relics so that they can hand them over to the Interpol. And our mission is to recover the artifacts for academic research. Kiyoshi told her that's a rich explanation, and if he says that Japan is interested in the relic for academic research, will you give it to me? Of course you won't. Why should trust you? Asked Linda Walker. We're both doing the same thing, so no need to be confrontational. But just know, the relic will be ours, said Kiyoshi. You're pretty full of yourself, replied Linda. Seoju arrived at their location and saw both Linda and Kiyoshi still arguing. Well, look at that, what's a CIA agent with such pretty hair doing with a Japanese excavation team? Although tombs have started to pop up all over the world, no one knew where the tombs and relics came from, so they were considered omens. At the time, they were only aware of the existence of the relics. Among us, those countries were America and Japan. They started to investigate the relics in secret, and even stole the relics they found in other countries. Those assholes, I dare you take it. This one is mine, thought Seoju, peeking at the corner. Seoju was confused why they were just standing there when the soldier said that they were going to use explosive. Then he came to a conclusion. These guys aren't either experts, waking away. I'll take the lead then. He halted, went on the ground, seeing red markers on the ground. Seoju smiled looking at the marks and said, here it is. These characters are called tomb glyphs. Relics are things that explain everything about themselves in these writing, both on the inside and outside the tombs. It's like they think the main characters in a fairy tale. They are just attention whores? Damn! Just roasted the things he's desperately in search of as whores. He is the whore's finder or locator. What in the world is that on person asked looks eerie. More people began to gather around the tomb glyphs. In other words, reading this tomb glyphs will tell you where the tomb entrance is and what traps are inside. They will much tell you everything in detail. Kneeling, looking at the tomb glyphs, he said, It's not like anyone can read these I guess there's kind of trap. But, not just anyone. Okay, I found the entrance, he said, while a bright purple light shone. The system tab appeared in front of him. Damn, this thing appears like a 5-second unskippable advert. You have gained the title of the expert cryptographer and unlocked a new skill. You have awakened the Tomb Raider basic skill, Linguistics F rank. Your ability to understand and speak other languages has improved, and ability to decipher glyphs has increased. This is good and all, but can you get off my face? Brother is behaving as if the system owes him. It's life, and he's the one that got reborn by the crow relic and bought back to the past. Bro docent under. The person who saw him was like, nowadays young boys been taking too much caffeine. Look at that fine educated young man go to waste. If he knew he's talking to the best uncertified self-proclaimed judge, jury, and executioner, he would have changed his words. Distant there were glowing symbols of letters which glowed the same as the tomb. Seoju found, it send without any delay, bro, had a maniacal facial expression and said, all right, open sesame. He dashed and sliced the glowing letter U in an instant. There was a huge release and influx of energy that shoot from his location.
Smiling with his knife, looking at the glyphs, he said, open sesame. He charged and slashed through the glyphs with quick and precise movements. Slashing it caused a reaction, which crackling sound resounded as it glowed. Ding! A system sounded, catching Seoju's attention. Looking at the system, it warned him that there would be an imminent emission of intense energy in this location. The location of the imminent energy emission released a powerful ray of light energy, which shot up into the sky. The light illuminated and brightened the dimly lit bridge, which could be seen from 10 meters away. That bright light alerted Linda and Kiyoshi, who asked each other, what in the hell is that? One of the black-suited men who had accompanied Linda approached her, telling her that the tomb's entrance appeared to have opened. Kiyoshi, still focused on the light, asked if that light was the entrance to the tomb. After realizing, he didn't hesitate and bolted away. Seeing this, Linda shouted for him to wait as she followed him. Kiyoshi told the soldier that they should stay here, as there could be a second explosion, and to ensure no civilians come to the vicinity. Then he continued to bolt away. Linda, catching up, told him that he lies every time he opens his mouth. If those guys follow us, it will be troublesome for you too, replied Kiyoshi as they both headed towards the intense, looming light. Arriving at the location, there was a huge hole where the light was coming from. Both halted. Kiyoshi moved close to observe to see what was below, but couldn't. Damn it, too bright, can't see the bottom, he said, moving away. Wanting to know how deep the hole was, Linda threw a huge rock into the hole. After a few minutes, they heard a splash below, as if it had landed in a pool of water. Kiyoshi realized this, telling Linda that there's water below. I know, but it seems pretty deep, replied Linda, deeply thinking about the next step. But not Kiyoshi. This motherfucker jumped into the hole. He just bet his whole life on the water below. No second thoughts. Wait! Shouted Linda as she tried to stop the already gone Kiyoshi. Kiyoshi landed with a loud splash, which alerted Seoju, who was walking in the cave, closely observing the carvings in the dimly lighted cave. Turning his head to the sound where the splash came from, he said to himself, I guess those dumbasses followed me. I guess I can't leave my guests unattended. He lit his lighter, reading the glyphs. Let's see, what do we have here? A special drenched surprise pool. That's fascinating. Hope they like it. Kiyoshi swam out of the water, coughing and grasping for fresh air. Fuck, this ain't water, he said as he coughed. This is sewage water. No wonder it was warm even as soon as I dived into it. Linda followed, coming down using a rope. Annoyed by Kiyoshi's action, in a sarcastic tone, he told him, real genius for a guy in an excavation team. What a quick decision you can't understand, replied Kiyoshi. A loud sound was heard from the cave, coming towards their direction. As it sounded, it approached in a violent manner. Linda turned her head, asking, what's that noise? Those were the words just before a disaster.
Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny, could be the words of the huge wave of water approaching them. Kiyoshi, who was already familiar with the water's warmth, knew it wasn't what it looked like. Not waiting to dive into other people's relief, he shouted, "Oh no, 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 no!" Both sprinted in the opposite direction as Linda asked, "Where did that water come from?" "You think that's not what it looks like, but it's not. You'll know the answer soon," replied Kiyoshi. The water quickly caught up, giving both of them a splendid hug, drenching both of them. As they consumed a huge amount of it, trying to gasp for air, Seoju walked unbothered that he just activated a trap, submerging two people into sewage water and making them have a huge sip of it. He just continued to look for the relic. His eyes focused as he said, "I found it." Entered into a cave. Each inside, a cave. There was a pool of water that seemed clean, but I think it ain't water. Seoju walked close to it, looked at his knife, and said, "Since this is the only thing I have, I guess I'll use it." This motherfucker dropped the only weapon he had into the pool of water. Relics are said to be bad omens. That's what most people thought. They should research this man's actions. Ripples and bubbles appeared, and an increasing amount of bubbles began to form at the surface. A huge snake emerged, its length about 10 feet, with its body still submerged as it looked at him intensely. Seoju was happy to find the culprit that buried his precious home, trying to render him homeless. Looking at his belt in disappointment, he realized he had forgotten his mythical tier weapon in his leather belt. The snakey, having no clue about what Seoju was thinking, communicated with him telepathically, asking if yet another soul had lost its things to the depths. Opening its mouth, there were two daggers, a gold one and a silver one. "Between these two knives, which one is yours?" Seoju, thinking with anger that this snake had no shame in burying his house into the depths of the ground, said, "Yet another soul loses its things to the depths and dares to act clueless." "Wait, can I check to see if the dagger is mine?" asked Seoju as he approached the snake. "You may confirm," replied the snake. The snake opened its mouth so Seoju could confirm if it's his dagger, reaching out his hand. Having his dagger back, Seoju thought, "Seems I don't have my belt, no house, and I'm hungry, no money. But I wonder how snake meat tastes, especially a magical one." He instantly attacked the snake on the side of the mouth. "Who says the weapons you give me won't turn me into a psychopath serial killer?" The snake was shocked at how Seoju knew about this, recalling that the axes of gold and silver turned the original owner into a serial killer, and the number of victims was staggering. "You son of a bitch, you wanted to give me a cursed relic as a reward, weren't you? It's ironic that this trial was supposed to be about honesty." "Your existence is full of lies," said Seoju, approaching the snake. Using the dagger, he stabbed it deeply, injuring it. The snake let out a huge cry. Turning away from it, he said, "Just submit to me. I am not done with you, scumbag. You buried my house. It's either you submit and die, or leave your family jewels here and die. What's the difference, bro? Either way, the snake dies. Someone call animal control." "Do you think you can seize me this way?" said the snake. The snake gave a death stare at Seoju, who just smirked and said, "I guess the family jewels it is then." Recalling that if you complete a tomb's trial, you get rewarded with a relic and the tomb will close. Those who were able to overcome the difficulties will receive the relic and its abilities, which led the relic and its owners to form a bond. This was a normal relationship. But the relic's nature was to hate and harm humans. If the humans were in contact with the relic for a prolonged period of time, they would become ill. Because of this, relic users who had access to the healing relic gained a lot of power and authority. That's the reason Seoju was exploited as a tomb raider by Seo Kwan. With this, Seoju vowed never to be friendly with relics this time. "If it were me, I would be on the same boat as you, our global tomb collector," he said while attacking the snake. The snake cried out in pain. "Let's see how you'll endure this," said Seoju with a furious look at the snake. Seoju, with a furious and dominant tone, shouted, saying, "I'll force you to surrender through domination."